Hello, everybody. Welcome to Group Chat, your weekly podcast for everything disability. Today, I have with me Jonathan Shar,
Hello.
Ibby D, and myself, David D. Today, we're going to be talking about having a place in the board while having a disability. Please like and share. And if you've got any comments, please put in the comment boxes or any questions. Or if there's any topics you would like us to talk about, please put that in the comment boxes also. So, Ibby, a lot of people think you can't be in a board while having a disability. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true, David. Yeah, it's true most of the time. Thank you very much for that, David. But look, being on the board, whether you're a person with disability or not, you still need to, I guess, be legally, I guess, prepared, but as well as mentally prepared, because it's a lot to take on. So, David, in saying that, share your experiences, as a person with disability and also being on a board.
From my experiences, being on a board and having a disability, it's very important to have someone with a disability on a board. They do work together. All right, if I can't do something, but I've got an idea, it still comes out. Now, you want people with disability to say their ideas because people have disabilities out there. So we do have a voice. Now, if I wasn't able to do something, a person that was on the board and can do it for me, can help me with it, will guide me and assist me. But it's always good to ask your fellow members too. They're always there to help. Why not?
Exactly, that's spot on, yeah. I agree with you there, David. So, yeah, look, for me, I've been on probably two boards, in the space of, my time being on the board. So, I've been on the board since 2018. And over the years, it's you learn. It's a learning experience, but it also allows people with disability to, like you mentioned, David, use their voice, make decisions, that will contribute to the running of the organization.
You also see, look, the way to run a business from a disability view. Now, when someone's disabled, and only people that are able to make decisions, they make decisions for able people. They don't think. They're not thinking. Oh, what about a wheelchair? What about a blind guy? What about a deaf guy? What about an autistic person? What about a person that doesn't recognize himself as a male or a female or a,
Yeah, yeah. Look, we live in a society, David, and fellow audience. We live in a society where people that are able-bodied, um, I guess, determine or say the way people with disabilities should live their lives. Uh, it's very important, as a board, to make decisions that will affect, the running of the business, that will make it successful and grow.
yeah,
And having people that are able-bodied in place on this board will, I guess, not allow that to happen.
if you got people with disability in the board, they always think of the think outside the square.
They're great contributors to, like I said, the running of an organization in terms of accessibility
Yeah,
and improving inclusion, in the organization. That's why I think more organizations should give people with disability the chance to become board members.
if you look at it, a lot of the companies that have people with disability on the board are successful,
Yeah, I guess.
and they look at it at a different angles.
That's true, that's true. But you gotta also uh, bear in mind that respect needs to also play out when you have people that's really on the board.
Exactly. A lot of people think people with disability don't know what's happening and how to do things.
But they do get us. Exactly. You've been on the board yourself, Jonathan. Yeah. And how was it for you? How was your experience? I was on the board for 6 years, and it was a great experience.
So it was a great experience.
I got to represent the organization and the number of events and have many meetings which helped improve the lives of people with physical disability. And it allows, people with disability to make those decisions that will, I guess, improve their quality of life, but also be more involved in, the running of the organization.
And also accessibility of how to get there and with which and the diversity of being able to join in via web or via physically being there.
Exactly.
So and the ramps and things like that and accessibility because don't forget we're not disabled. The workers, people that work in the company aren't only going to be disabled. It's clientele too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. True, true.
So you gotta advocate for them too.
Exactly. But in saying that, David, how do you feel about being involved on a board?
I feel like I've got a voice. I feel like I can make a change, and I can make it easier for people like me that are on the board that aren't on the board, and they can use the different technologies that if I wasn't on the board they wouldn't think of putting. So if I could tell them put that on for the people that can't see and put that on for the people that can't hear. Or put that on for the people that can't enter by foot. You got to make sure that people can get in there by wheelchair.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything counts.
It does, it does. It makes you feel valued. It makes you, I guess, feel like you're contributing, to the organization.
Yeah.
And that's where inclusion plays its part. And I strongly encourage, all our peers out there to become involved, on the board. Grab whatever opportunity there is. But look, for me, honestly, it's helped develop my skills over the years. It's improved many of my, I guess, skills. Put it that way.
Look, what we can name the skills, the communication skills, using the computer skills, being able to use the technology skills, and learning as you go along. It's not always gonna be bed of roses, but you're gonna have some ups and downs, but you learn from them.
Exactly, exactly. I was fortunate enough to play different roles, during my time on the board. Just a little fact about myself. I've never been an ordinary member on a board. As soon as I joined the board, I straight away got into an executive role. So you got like a secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president. And yeah, since I started out on the board, I straight away became secretary, and then jumped into the role of treasurer, and then yeah, finally became the big president. But over time, I learned, and I've understood the roles that each one plays when you're on a board
Yeah.
and its importance. And I think this is why we need more people with disability out there. Being a representative on the board.
It's always good to represent because at the end, you've got your voice out there. If anyone is listening, can they tell us if they've got a disability and have they been on a board, or have they do not have a disability but seen someone on with a disability on a board?
Well, not necessarily seen, but know of anyone that's been on the board. Let us know in the comments. Share your experiences. Why do you think it's important for people with disability to be involved in a board?
Why? Because it helps get the dynamics of a business to all perspectives from from someone of a disability and someone without a disability. So it gives everyone a chance to put in place their ideas from different perspectives.
Exactly. Your voice is heard. I guess it's a great platform for people to share what works, what needs to improve, and how things are in the organization. Yeah, so for those members in the audience, if you've got experience of being on the board, let us know. And that's the thing. Not many people, especially people with disability, are represented on the board. And so we need to take into consideration that we need to respect and also hear our peers in what they say and how things should run.
I think on a board, you know how you got different branches in a board?
Yep.
I reckon there should always be a disability branch in a board.
How so? What do you mean by that?
Like a branch of people just about disability.
Also, like having a board that's got all people with disability on it.
But a branch like of like you know how you've got disability representing for decisions of disability and all that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So like subcommittees.
Yeah, subcommittee,
Yeah, no, that's good.
a disability subcommittee.
Oh yeah, that's a good thought. But also talk about like how inclusion plays part in our board, and also in the our inclusion also plays a part in the board and in the organization.
Yeah, inclusion. Yeah, no, not only as not only in a subcommittee, also for people that haven't got disability, but they are represented about disability, so they don't have to have disability to be on the subcommittee.
Like you said, it's good to get a perspective from both, I guess, able-bodied and people with disability.
At the end, people with disability probably do get annoyed by people with that have no disability that are arrogant, and the others probably vice versa.
It's all good, David. Speaking of which, how does a person with disability become involved with a board?
By coming up to going to meetings and asking to join in.
Oh yeah, there's always an expression of interest. Usually around the annual general meeting times, so the AGM.
Yeah, yeah,
Organizations will send out like a EOI, an expression of interest, and if peers are interested, then they'll sign up or nominate themselves to be a part of the board.
yeah.
which I really strongly encourage all our peers out there to become involved in the board.
But there's one thing, do not become involved in a board if you have no time for it.
That's right. You're absolutely right, David. Because you need the time and you need the commitment, and also the understanding of what the organization's all about. Which I guess, look, organizations will induct you anyway. They'll go through the nitty gritty of how the business runs and what being on the board is all about. That's what makes a good organization and a great board.
Yeah. Ibby, what's your final thoughts about being on the board and having disability?
I've been on the board for a long time, and my advice to all those that are watching, just look, go for the opportunity. Don't be like me and jump straight into the executive role, but just join in as an ordinary member. Become a part of the board for any organization. See what it's all about, and hopefully you can grow, gain the skills, gain the knowledge, gain the experiences, and work your way up until you reach, or if you want to, become the president of your organization. That's how it is for me. You learn along the way. But also, it's very important to have disability representation out there in the community. So do what you can to get involved, and let's make the world a more inclusive and accessible place for everyone. That's up to you, David. What are your final thoughts?
My final thought is if you don't if you're confused and you're scared of joining, ask if you can join one of the meetings. See what goes on in the board. Listen, learn. If it doesn't hurt to learn and listen, and then make your decision if you want to become part of the board.
Yes. So you have what you call a trial. If you're interested, just let the organization know, and they're willing to invite you to come and observe how the board runs and what it's all about.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Jonathan?
My final thought is I thank you for every NDIS provider they should be required to have someone with a disability on the board.
It's always good to have someone with a disability on the board. Thank you very much, Jonathan. That's awesome. Anyway, look, you've been watching Crip Chat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. Join us next week as we talk more issues related to disability. Goodbye for now.
Please like and share.